Okay, I am back. Let me see how this works. Oh, it's a chair. Okay. All right. So let me take off this overlay until somebody actually says something. Okay. So I got the legs basically done. These are them. I felt like I could maybe do like Charlie Chaplin. You know the. Anyway, but before I've already put glue on the ends, the tips of the feet, and then I also let's see what's going on here. Okay, I also put glue all the way around the edges of this, except for the edges of the feet. I'll have to do that at a separate time, but I'll start to put these guys on. I like to glue outside if I can help it, as I've said 100 times, about 100 times. So I'm just gonna put that down where the toes are. Kind of work it up. Grab another one of these guys. Try not to get hair and other stuff in there. And I will put glue around the edge of these feet to make them less blocky. But I do have glue on this edge. So what I'm going to do, let's take one of these. These probably would work better if they were straight. But anyway. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting this on here. I don't think I need any glue on the actual the leg to the inner bone structure join. I could be wrong, but I don't remember doing that before. So anyway. Tell you what though, look at how so this needs to be bent a little bit more. Oh, the other thing I did was I took a the washer and I drilled a hole in it, and then put that wire through and bent it over. So maybe a little too long now. I'm just going to have that lie flat there. I will have to put a hole in this at some point for the little spine thing to shoot through, but okay. So I'm gonna put glue around there at some point and do that. I actually think I need to make that a little shorter. It's like Silence of the Lambs. Okay. Take that off. I think I'm going to take about an inch off because it feels like it's a little too long. Oops. Okay, let me think about this. Okay, that's that leg. Let me just go this way. So basically how I did this is I just stuck that on there like that and bend this over. Okay, that's better. Looks like a rat creature's leg. Okay. I need to make this one shorter now too. These little changes are like, I guess that's one reason why I don't get too worried about things being perfect, because I know that everything's kind of a process. But not knowing how to do something doesn't necessarily make me not want to do it. Okay. Uh-oh. Well, now I've done it. I forgot to put the little stopper in there. Okay, well, that's okay. That goes that way. Put stopper in there like so. Move it back up. Okay, I guess I'll be putting my respirator on to do these last couple pieces. Fix some of the problems. Oh, look. Oh, hello. I want to see if this overlay thing works pretty well. So let's see. Yeah, there you are. Great. I wanted to have it make sure that, you know, the children's of the people who are watching this right now can revel in the wonderful things that people are saying as I build this thing. So he's here's the beginnings of his legs. I guess that'll go on like that. And when it's all, bent into place, it'll look more like a dog's leg. And as I was doing before, here's my Charlie Chaplin. Anyway, let me put on my respirator and I will move these last couple pieces. So, Kenneth, did you want me to? I was thinking I'm going to trim the arms and I'm going to trim the hands to make them a little bit better. And I think I'm going to leave the texture of the tail and the back about the same as it is, but I'm probably going to brush out the front. Does that sound right to you, or should I try and brush out everything on him? Let me open that window too. Okay. let that dry just a little bit longer. That's good that overlay works. I just don't like how much of the viewing span is taken up by it. One leg. Okay, so there's there's both legs. I think all my gluing is done, which is great. Fabrication wise, all that's left is the tongue, the teeth, the fur on the legs, sewing up that little bit at the bottom, and then grooming. So I'm getting there. Home stretch. So those are the two legs there. I think I'm gonna fill in that a little bit more. Like this original pattern, it's a little more defined than I'd like. It's like a chicken leg, like a human leg. So this one will just have a little bit more haunch to it. I think it'll make it look a little bit better. But that's looking pretty good. I think we'll go on there. Right about there. Not that you can see that. So I'll put the doll joints right there. I can't do that until I get this fur on. So I guess it's cutting the fur. My second favorite thing to do. So I actually have quite a bit of this fur left, which is good. I was hoping I might have enough to make a raccoon. There's a bit of it left. I think it goes this way. So the nice thing about this is, I want to make another pattern. Just thinking about this for a second. Okay, so since I want to change that haunch, I'm going to put this on here. Oh. Hopefully that'll do it. So it looks like I made this pattern before I got my notcher. So that's interesting. All right, so that's my new pattern. Guess we'll see if it works. The nice thing is that it's bigger than the old pattern, so if it doesn't work, I can always trace on the new pattern, the old pattern. I'm gonna have to get off of here in a few minutes. I teach a class at 6. I should be able to get this. Should be able to get this part done at least. And much like the arms and the tail, this is more or less just a big loose sock that hangs over it. I did put some stuffing in the shoulders, but I don't think I'm going to put any stuff. I don't usually put stuffing in the legs just because they're kind of, I like them to look more like haunches when they're sitting. And I think that any stuffing that is in there will just interfere with that look. One thing I do need to do, though, is that's not exactly where that hole's going to go, but I wanted to make sure I knew that that was the side it was going to be on. I just got his vest and dog tags ordered. They say Max on the front and made by Steve Troop on the back. I'll send photos. That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to see him in action. Hopefully you get some video because, number one, I don't know anything about ventriloquism, and the fact that you do is pretty awesome. Oh, maybe I want to actually trace that on there. It looks like I did get a little bit of the salvage edge on this, but it should be fine because this is so thick. This fur is so thick, I don't think it'll matter. Okay, but I'll move that up a little bit. If I hadn't made that mistake earlier where I, looks like there's just enough room. I cut a piece out to make the tail, and it wasn't going the right way. So I have a big square out of this that it didn't need to be cut. So hopefully these, I mean, I have to say probably the vest will end up getting there before this does. This thing isn't going to go up before Monday, but still, that's pretty good. It's also have no idea how long it's going to take to get to you. Oh, there's something kind of satisfying about knowing this is the leg. Well, there's still a couple more pieces because I still got to cut out these little feet. But for the most part, the cutting of the fur is done, which is amazing. Okay. There's one. What am I pin? Did you trace around the foot? Did you flip the pattern? Yes. Okay. Looks great to see. Okay. Yes, I did flip the pattern. And that's why I put that cross on there to know that those are the two different. They're just slightly different. I suppose they probably could have been symmetrical, but I think there's a little bit more fabric on one side. I'm pinning into a piece of it's called Plastizote, and it's like a rigid form of foam, which I have no idea where I got. I got it from the shop when the shop I had with BJ folded. I got a bunch of stuff, and Plastizote was one of them. And I ended up not really knowing what to do with it, and found that I could pin into it. And so I use it as it's almost like a really it's almost like a self-healing mat, although it doesn't really self-heal. It's you're able to pin into it, and then it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So I've used that. I use you can also take a couple pieces of foam core or corrugated cardboard and glue them together to make it double thick, and you can pin into that the same way. Or I've used an old bulletin board. You could use that to pin into, but it really it makes it super simple to lay out patterns if you can just pin into a board like that. The notcher comes in handy. Yeah, I use it all the time. What class am I teaching? I teach. It's a friend of mine's kids ever since COVID. They're into cartooning, and so I teach them little lessons on how to cartoon. I've done it for 5 years now. Okay, so these are both. Get rid of that. Okay, so aside from the pads of the feet, that'll go on there. Let's see, how does that go? No. I think it goes like this. Nope. Goes like that. Okay. So let's see. This goes on like this. Oh my gosh, this fur. And this goes on here, like so. Yeah, see? Looks like Chewbacca. Gray Chewbacca. So this goes around like this, and then all that's left open is the pad of his foot. It's all put together. And I'll have another piece that goes on there. But it looks like it worked, which is great. So then the which leg is this? So this will go on here like so. He'll get his little leg. After I sew all that up and make the little pad. I'll go like so. I think the next, let me think, what am I building next? I think I'm building capybara. It's some sort of giant rat. I'm building that for somebody. I think that's the next thing I'm going to build. But I'll go through the whole patterning process with that. Because this was a rebuild kind of in a lot of ways of Max. I mean of Eddie. All right, so there's his little feet now. His little goat feet. Chewbacca feet. I'm losing a lot of your messages. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Okay, I'm missing a lot of your comments. Let's see if I can find them now. Oh, look at all that. Okay. Looks great, Steve. But you'll be glad to be finished cutting out all that fur elements. Oh, yes. I will be so happy when the fur, when I'm done with the fur. I really only have two more little pieces to cut out. Somewhere around here I have, and it's actually shaved ahead of time, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Only thing is I already shaved enough to do all the pads of the feet, and I have no idea where that shave piece is, so I'll probably have to make another one of those. But yeah, I guess all that's left now is to sew this thing up and then put the doll joints in, and then I can sew up the bottom of this. Oh, I got to do the pads. But yeah, so hopefully tomorrow this whole thing will be done, which would be great. Cartooning class, that's awesome. Too bad you couldn't record and monetize the classes since you're already teaching them. Well, there's not much to teach, really. I've taught them everything I know in about the first 6 months. It's basically they just have questions about what they're drawing and animating and everything else, and I try and guide them how to do it. I was actually thinking about maybe one day a week doing some art, some drawing stuff on here as an addition to doing puppet stuff. I don't know if there's a crossover audience at all, but I mean, the way I build is so much like the way I draw. You know, if I'm building a puppet, I start with a sphere. I start with a sphere and then add pieces to it to make the different shapes or whatever. So I kind of feel like it's similar to the way I draw. and whatever that becomes. You can kind of see how my process kind of carries over, but I don't know if there's a good carryover with the way that with the way if you guys would want to see me draw as much as you want to see me build puppets. Let's see. But I probably should get off. I have about 10 minutes to do that, and I want to walk Tilly before I do it. But hey, thank you for helping me make this this puppet. I will work on it tonight, and I'll try and finish this up tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow. Structured, yeah. I don't like floppy legs. I like the way they just kind of do it, and I don't like it when the wire legs, they just go all over the place. So putting the bones, the tubing in there to keep parts of the armature straight really really helped define it as a leg. So all right, I'm getting off. I'll talk to you later. Bye.